everyone, and welcome to your very first round of box office predictions in 2020. Sounds kind of crazy. I got to get used to it, though. There is an interesting weekend ahead of us because we only have one new wide release, so you're going to hear a lot of familiar titles. But before we even get to the new list, of course, Fantasy Movie League recap. We had 4 players in the prediction with Perri League get the perfect lineup. You could see all 4 of their names up on the screen right now. Big congrats to all of you. I could hear Dewey chiming. He is coming to congratulate you himself at some point. But right now, what about my top 5 rankings there? I wound up going 3 for 5. Not so bad, but my numbers, as kind of expected, were a bit off this holiday weekend. So Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker did dominate the holiday box office, but it came in a bit under expectations, making $72.4 million for the 3-day weekend. Then it was Jumanji: The Next Level, which absolutely crushed it weekend 3 of release, getting a 33.2% boost for a 3-day total of $35.3 million. Frozen 2 came in at number 3 with $16.9 million, and then it was Little Women at number 4, which opened up right behind with $16.8 million. And then closing out the top 5, we had Spies in Disguise, which kicked off its run with $13.3 million. Dewey has arrived, and that means we can roll into our very first top 5 of 2020. As I said at the beginning of this video, we only have one new wide release this weekend in The Grudge, so you're going to hear a lot of the same titles we have been talking about for the last week or two. But the big question to start here is, what is going to wind up at number 5? Is it going to be The Grudge, or is Spies in Disguise going to hold on strong enough? I'm going with The Grudge on this one. It does feel like a little bit of a risky move to be betting on The Grudge, especially when there's been next to no buzz about a new Grudge movie, but horror movies do have a track record of doing fairly well this time of year, with last year's Escape Room being a great example. So that's a big reason why I'm giving The Grudge the benefit of the doubt over Spies in Disguise, especially when you consider its not so hot opening weekend and the fact that family-friendly movies like Frozen 2 and Jumanji: The Next Level are still performing very well. So that is why I'm locking in The Grudge at number 5. As for how much it's going to make this weekend, I don't think it's touching that $18 million that Escape Room opened up with last year. Instead, I'm looking at the 2012 release, The Forest. That one opened up with $12.7 million, but I actually don't even want to go that high either. I want to bring that down a touch, and it's kind of because I have Black Christmas stuck on my mind and how poorly that performed, and also because it is a different landscape from way back in 2016 to now. It does make a difference, so I want to bring the number down, and I think I'm feeling most comfortable with going with an even $10 million for The Grudge's first weekend in theaters. Now it is on to the number 4 position, and that is where I have Frozen 2. And I do know putting Frozen 2 behind Little Women is what screwed up my ranking order last weekend, but I have to do it again this time because Little Women is enjoying a significant amount of award season buzz right now, and Frozen 2 is well into its run right now as well. The funny thing, though, is I kind of want to use the same comp for both of them, and it's not a 1-for-1 because of where New Year's Eve fell last year, but I want to look at Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse for both of them, because the weekend before the first weekend in January, all 3 movies made a very similar amount of money. Then, first weekend of January, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse fell 30.2%. I think that's a very, very realistic number for Frozen 2. So for this one, I'm keeping that percent change right about the same, and that would mean Frozen 2 is making another $11.5 million. And now, of course, that means my number 3 pick for the weekend is Little Women. I can roll with the same thought on this one. So, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the weekend before the first weekend in January, made a very similar amount to Frozen 2 and also Little Women. The thing is, though, I want to bring that 30.2% dip that it experienced the first weekend in January down for Little Women. One, because Little Women does have a little less to lose, and also because it's earlier in its run. So let's say I bring that percent change down to 25%. That means Little Women will out-earn Frozen 2 with $12.5 million. Now we have arrived at the number 2 position, and I'm giving it right back to Jumanji: The Next Level. I'm going to keep in mind a lot of the ideas that I've brought up in the previous 2 movies right here, because again, you know I want to compare The Next Level to Welcome to the Jungle, but depending on where the holidays fall, that can affect how it does over the holiday season, Christmas weekend, and of course New Year's weekend as well. And the good example here is the fact that last weekend, yes, Next Level did very well. It made $35.3 million, but at this point in its run, Welcome to the Jungle made about $50 million. So there's the difference. But if I fast forward to the very first weekend in January and consider Welcome to the Jungle's percent change of 25.6%, that is just so low and bodes so well for The Next Level. I do need to bring it down a little bit because of the fact that The Next Level has less to lose, but I'm hesitant to go below 25% just because that's such a small amount. So if I play it safe, go with a 25% drop for the movie this weekend, it's still making another $26 million. And now finally, that of course makes my number 1 position, Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. We got to play the same game here as well, because I want to compare Rise of Skywalker to The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi had the benefit of having that long New Year's weekend, which this one does not. The thing is, though, over Christmas weekend, it seems like their per theater averages had leveled out. We have Rise of Skywalker posting $16,429 per theater, and for the 3-day Christmas weekend for Last Jedi, it was at $16,910 per theater. So I do think that they're kind of leveling out here, but of course, got to keep in mind that Last Jedi had that 1-2 punch of a long Christmas weekend and a long New Year's weekend, which Rise of Skywalker does not. But when I look ahead to weekend 4 of The Last Jedi, the first weekend of January, we're looking at a 54.8% drop. And I think that's a very reasonable number for Rise of Skywalker to be heading towards right now. So if I stick right around there for this movie, that means it's going to take the top spot with another $32.5 million. Dewey has pieced out a little early, but he's left me with a whole shirt full of his hair. I need a lint roller, but first I have to do my recap right now. I've got Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker topping the charts with $32.5 million. Then it's Jumanji: The Next Level making another $26 million, followed by Little Women at number 3 with $12.5 million. Frozen 2 coming in at number 4 with $11.5 million. And then finally, The Grudge closing out my top 5 with $10 million. 'Tis your turn now. Hit that comment section below and put your top 5 rankings right there. Head on over to Fantasy Movie League, lock those lineups in case you want to sign up to kick off the new year. All the information on how to do so is in the description section of this video. Before I say goodbye, I've got Patreon shoutouts, of course. This is for a great tier of individuals, all G-chatters, all fine folks that I've gotten to know quite well over the past couple of months. Big shoutouts go to Kaiser, Seth, Neil, Kavi, Rick, and James. You guys rock. Thank you for helping me kick off 2020 so strong. I really appreciate your support. I appreciate all you guys out there watching this video. Do not leave it without liking and sharing it, and I'll see you next week and to check back in on how we all did on our box office predictions.